Only one creature has carved a life for itself in every habitat on Earth. That creature is us. All over the world, we still use our ingenuity to survive in the wild places, far from the city lights, face to face with raw nature. This is the human planet. Mountains are among the most brutal environments on Earth. Weather here can shift from tropical to Arctic in just hours. And the higher you climb, the tougher it gets, until even oxygen is stripped away. But millions of people live in the mountains. Either seeking refuge from conflict or exploiting resources found nowhere else. And to survive, they have had to adapt in the most surprising and ingenious ways. These are their stories. The Altai Mountains in Mongolia are among the most remote on Earth. And for the people who live in this barren landscape, hunting is nearly impossible, unless you have help. Sailao Jadik and his son Berik are Kazakhs. And today they're in search of the ultimate hunting partner, a golden eagle.
Kısım kıran bolsa Altay'da alınbaydı nam yok. Yer betinde bürkütten kıran kuş sok.
These young birds are almost ready to leave the nest. If 16-year-old Berik can collect one, he will take his first step towards becoming a Kazakh hunter like his father. It's a big first step. Ever since the Kazakhs fled into these mountains nearly 200 years ago, they have been stealing baby eagles. Eagles have eyes many times more powerful than a human's and can spot prey 2 kilometers away. If Berik can teach this eagle to hunt for him, he will join the few hundred Kazakhs left who can still do this. Beric calls his new eagle Balapan. If he gets it right, Balapan will become his hunting partner. But training her will take 5 months. It's 5 months later, and time for Beric and a fully grown Balapan to go on their first hunt together. They're after a Mongolian fox, an animal so elusive, only an eagle stands a chance of catching it. But for Balapan to catch the fox, Beric first has to take her to high ground. Here she'll have the perfect vantage point to spot the slightest movement.
кеткен жоқ. Сен жібересің ғой, сақтап тұрсаң, көріп арып ақ көрдің бе? Күлкіні. Бәле ар жағында тастың ар жағында. Ана қыраттың ар жағынан шыққанда, қыраттың ар жағынан. Жел қағып шыққанда сен томағыңды алып дайын тұр, сақ.
Beric now hopes that Balapan's hunting instinct will take over.
Haydi bizi haydi!
Balapan has failed. For Beric, this is worrying. Does she have the killer instinct? Traditionally, Kazakh hunters pair up with their eagles for 7 years before setting them free. But Beric now has his doubts.
Енді оған ренжіме. Балапан бүркіт қайсысы? Түлкір шығанда орында қалды ғой. Ертең көресің, бүгін раманесін қонсақ, ілініп ақ қалар балапан.
As day breaks, father and son return to the mountains. If Balapan can't catch a fox, Beric may have to let her go and find another eagle to train.
Haydi, kaçmadım.
Balapan has caught the fox, just as she was trained to. She's now locked in a fight to the death. Silao kills the fox as quickly as he can. According to Kazakh tradition, Balapan gets the fox's lungs. The fox's thick coat will be used for winter clothing. Berik has proved himself to be a successful Kazakh hunter.
Ja, mergenbay endi жақсылар билесең енді құсын құран жақсы екен. Әдемі болғашты. Қашанда қанжығаң майды денің сау. Осындай көптің азаматы бол.
As long as they have lived in the Altai Mountains, Kazakhs have relied on eagles. However, not all mountain people get help from wild animals. On the edge of Africa's Great Rift Valley, geological upheaval has created Ethiopia's Simien Mountains. Here, giant cliffs form a natural fortress where for centuries people have sought refuge from conflicts below. Gatabit village is one of 100 perched in a landscape so vertical that the residents can only grow their crops on tiny strips of land along the edges of cliffs. But 700-foot precipices are the least of their worries. Today, their annual harvest is underway, and their grain is under attack from a ravenous enemy. These are gelada monkeys, and they love stealing the farmers' grain. Troops of up to 600 prowl the cliffs surrounding Gatabit village, led by males with fangs larger than a lion's. They are cunning thieves. To defend their crops against the monkeys, the cliff farmers depend on their children, such as 12-year-old Derije.
በጣም ንዴት ነው የሚሰማኝ እንጂ መውደድ አይሰማኝ።
Because the area is next to a national park, the gelada are protected.
ራስ ዛሬ እኮ ባድ ይችላል 7 ዓመት ስራትና 7 ዓመት ታስረ 7 ሺህ ከፍለ ወጥ ያገኘዋል ራሱ አዘቡት ነው እንጂ 5 ብር ማያገኝው።
As night approaches, the geladas stop raiding. But Derije's crops are ripe for harvest, and he knows that tomorrow the monkeys will attack even more aggressively than before. So, with his 2 sisters and brother, he camps by his fields.
ሰጎ መጣብኝ እንዲላርክ ፈታተው ገመሪ መጣብኝ
አይና ፈተው ቢመጣ መግጠብ ነው እንጂ ማባረር።
At night, temperatures plummet below freezing. While the thick-furred geladas have adapted to the cold, the humans must huddle together for warmth. At dawn, the geladas attack. The first strike comes from a few large males who target Dereje's haystacks. He drives them off, but the geladas are cunning. These males were only a decoy. Out of sight at the other end of Dereje's fields, the main army launches the real attack. A big troop like this can strip a field in minutes. If Dereje doesn't hurry, the food his family needs to get through the winter will be gone. Dereje's done it. He's seen off the gelada. Finally, his crops are harvested.
ደስተኛ ስሜት ሰማኝ። ከቤቴ ከገባሁ ወዲያ በጣም ደስተኛ ስሜት ሰማኝ። በጤና ገባሁ ከገደሉም ከሁለመናው በጤና ገባሁ።
Dereje lives in the Simians because his ancestors sought refuge here centuries ago. But in some parts of the world, people settle in mountains because this environment has something they desperately want. Mountains are born when continental plates collide. This massive upheaval often exposes a wealth of valuable minerals. Nowhere more so than here in Indonesia, home to more active volcanic mountains than any nation on Earth. Here, people risk their lives for a mineral vital to several important industries. Sulfur. Hartomo and Suleiman are sulfur miners. Today, they're going where few others dare. Into the heart of an active volcano.
Banyak gunung yang terbesar dari gunung Izen, tapi yang lebih kecil, tapi malah banyak penghasilannya.
This is Ijen Crater, one of the most poisonous places on Earth. At its center, a lake filled with 2.5 million tons of acid. And out of the depths of the mountain pour toxic gases that have claimed the lives of 74 miners in the past 40 years.
Memang sangat berbahaya kalau kerja di kawah Ijen, karena kalau kena asap itu yang terlalu tebal bisa dia semaput. Istri saya itu sangat khawatir sekali kalau saya lagi kerja di Kawah Ijen.
The hydrogen sulfide that these men must breathe in is 40 times the safe level. Over time, it destroys their lungs.
Ketika asap datang, yang dirasakan terutama mata, sambil hidung dan mulut, itu kadang-kadang asap langsung masuk kan.
Once they have enough sulfur, Hartomo and Suleiman have to carry it 200 meters straight up to the crater rim. Each man hefts 90 kilos, nearly 1.5 times their own body weight. This work exacts a heavy price on the miners' bodies.
Kata umumnya, kalau pekerjaan berat itu karena cepat tua.
Saya mencari nafkah untuk anak istri saya. Banyak kerjaan yang lain, tapi untuk sehari-harinya itu masih kurang mencukupi.
Suleiman and Hartomo are paid $5 per load. The lives of miners have always been hard. But it's not just miners who have it tough. For some mountain dwellers, just finding food can be a challenge. In the South Pacific lies the world's second largest island, New Guinea. This is one of the most biologically rich mountain landscapes on Earth. With plenty of water and thousands of protected valleys, these mountains brim with life. Yet hunting for food, and in particular meat, is surprisingly difficult. Marcus, Andrew and George are hunters from the Yangoro Boykan tribe. They and their families haven't eaten any fresh meat for 2 weeks. But today they plan to solve the problem. They hope to trap giant fruit bats.
Gonfa Quarganui. We are a combino.
But to catch a giant bat requires a giant bat trap. So these men are doing something radical. They're changing the shape of the landscape itself. Along this ridge, the men create a 70-foot wide doorway, a shortcut through the mountains to the fruit trees beyond, and a perfect place to ambush the bats.
Sakmoran do unor kolia, shalando, terando, lining, and hagrando on very. Aware, but Sakmoran. How Hindu don't cancel them to start on first working.
Like spiders, the men spin a gigantic web. In the dark, this 130-foot-high net cannot be detected by the bats. Only two things now remain. Add the bat alert signal and pray the bats fly into their trap. Catching bats requires patience. In the past, Marcus has spent weeks on the mountain and come home empty-handed. But if he does manage to catch even a few, the effort will be worthwhile. It's a good start, but with all the mouths to feed at home, they're going to need more than one bat. As the hours roll on, their trap continues to catch bats. In the course of the night, the men catch a total of 15 bats. They cook 2 now and save the rest. Their haul will provide their families with enough protein for 2 weeks. Every part of the bat is edible, down to the leather on the wings. For Andrew, Marcus and George, knowing every inch of their mountain habitat enables them to feed their families. But in colder climes, knowing every inch of your mountain can mean the difference between life and death. In the Swiss Alps, 10 meters of snow can fall in a year. And for millions of skiers, this is a brilliant reason to come here. But heavy snowfalls can also pose a deadly threat. Avalanches. Traveling faster than a bullet train, a major avalanche annihilates everything in its path. In any given winter, there can be 30,000 avalanches in the Swiss Alps alone. Ski patrolman Martin Mattis is an avalanche spotter, and today he has a big problem. In his hometown of Grindelwald, there has been a massive snowfall. The risk of avalanche is now extreme.
dass es so grosse Lawinen gibt. Es können Strassen verschüttet werden, Eisenbahnwege. Dass es so grosse Lawinen gibt, dass es eben Dörfer verschüttet. Das ist unsere Aufgabe, dass wir die Lawinen sprengen, bevor dass irgendein Skifahrer sie auslösen kann.
Towering 1,000 meters above Grindelwald is the notorious Blackhorn Ridge. Packed with snow, it's a disaster waiting to happen. So Martin must set off a controlled avalanche now before any more snow falls.
Jetzt, wenn die Lawinengefahr grösser wird, dann wird der Helikopter dann eingesetzt, weil wir nicht überall dazukommen.
To set off a controlled avalanche, you need dynamite. Plenty of it. Martin is taking 50 kilos, enough to blow up several city blocks.
Also vom Job her, ja, dann wird es natürlich ein bisschen hektischer, wenn wir also 3 Meter Schnee auf einmal haben. Dann ist der Adrenalin etwas höher, aber sonst Angst habe ich nicht.
Martin reaches the summit of the Blackhorn Ridge and sets a charge. He triggers a mini avalanche, shifting over 10 tons of snow. But it's not enough. He needs to go again. This time, Martin succeeds. This is the avalanche he needs to make the mountains safe.
Es ist sehr stark, Natur. Also das Grindelwald ist das etwas, wo wir leben mit den Lawinen. Wir sind hier darauf vorbereitet, dass es eben Lawinen geben kann.
High in the Alps, mountain people have learnt to control the threat of avalanches with modern technology. But there are mountains where the forces of nature cannot be tamed. The Himalaya is the highest mountain range on Earth. The world's tallest 100 mountains are all here. And within these peaks live 70 million people, many at altitudes that pose a threat to the human body. In the Doromba region of Nepal, the residents face an insidious threat. Dangerously high levels of harmful UV rays pierce the thin mountain air and burn people's eyes. And here in the village of Balau, 65-year-old Tatini has paid a heavy price. She's blind.
Discharge berkali, ya kali धेरै देख्नु भएन अनिदेखि त छैन रोएर पनि के गर्नु हाँसेर पनि के गर्नु
Tatini is determined not to let blindness interfere with her life. But simple tasks such as fetching water now take longer and can be treacherous. Her blindness is caused by cataracts, a fogging of her lenses exacerbated by the intense mountain sun. But isolated here in the Himalaya, Tatini has no access to medical treatment. Fortunately, an answer to her prayers may be just around the corner. From Kathmandu, Dr. Sanduk Ruit has pioneered a method of eye surgery that he brings to the remote corners of the Himalaya. His mobile clinic brings hope to thousands.
That's what I was saying.
And today, Tatini is setting off to join them. She has arranged for the only transportation available to her in these mountains. A friend has offered to carry her 10 kilometers to the Duramba clinic. While Dr. Ruit's success rate is high, there is still a strong chance that Tatini's eyes are too far gone to be saved. He makes no promises. Duramba's schoolhouse is now an improvised operating theatre. It takes Dr. Ruit just half an hour to remove Tatini's fogged lenses. He then replaces them with a synthetic lens he manufactures himself. In the West, this operation could cost $8,000. But funded by charity, Dr. Ruit doesn't charge his patients a single rupee. With surgery now complete, Tatini can only wait. Just 24 hours after her operation, Tatini joins hundreds of patients waiting to have their bandages removed, hopefully with her sight restored. For Tatini, this is the moment of truth.
के देख्यो भन त देख्यो देखेपछि त हाँस्नुपर्छ त यो औँला कतिवटा छ
पाँचवटै छ
अब
दुईटा
ल यो तिम्रो औँलाले मेरो नाकमा छुनु त हो हो र भने गाला सुमसुमाइदियो मेरो हातले राम्रोसँग सुमसुमाइदैन हातले पुरा हातले हो कस्तो रहेछ
राम्रै रहेछ
राम्रो रहेछ
For the first time in 3 years, Tatini can see.
मेरो आशीर्वाद लाग डाक्टरले खुसी लाग्यो नि कति खुसी लाग्यो त Awayati sansar yang nufaini aja. Dia noleta abo sama seg bhoy ni ajuko. मन फुक्का भएन यो मुटु फुक्का भयो
In the Himalayan foothills, modern medicine is helping prolong the lives of the people who live here. But as you climb higher in these mountains, it's how to deal with death that poses a problem. At over 4,000 meters, Do Tarap is one of the highest communities on Earth. Buddhists live here in almost complete isolation. And when someone dies at this altitude, dealing with the corpse is a real challenge. Last night, there was a death in the village. 70-year-old Nombe La passed away, and now his family are preparing his body for a Buddhist funeral. The man in charge of this funeral is Holy Lama Namgal.
신부디 코랑미 시주상고에 네 제거를 심독질래가 코랑 부만 거예요.
Lama Namgal needs to hold the funeral soon because Nombe La's corpse could attract predators and spread disease. But when you live at the roof of the world, your options are limited. Buddhists don't bury their dead. And at this altitude, no trees grow, so there is no wood for a cremation. The solution is a sacred ritual older than Buddhism itself. A sky burial. To conduct the sky burial ritual, Lama Namgal needs the help of a specialist. Barme Forba is the undertaker. As a non-Buddhist, he is the only one who is allowed to carry out this most difficult task. The funeral procession heads an hour and a half up into the mountains to a sacred ledge where sky burials have been performed for over 1,000 years. Here they will rendezvous with the most efficient scavengers in these mountains. Vultures. For millennia, Buddhists in these mountains have relied on the griffon vulture and the lammergeier to help them dispose of their dead. These birds swiftly consume a corpse before it can spread disease. Buddhists see this as a sacred act, an offering that will sustain the life of another being. For them, Nombe La's corpse is now an empty vessel. His soul has already migrated to another realm. Nombe La's sons pay their final respects to their father. But they don't wish to be present for what is about to take place. Because in order for the vultures to consume Nombe La's corpse quickly, Bame must make it easier for them. Nombe La's corpse is now gone and cannot spread disease.
Generally, Chinook, Noju, Nongjuki, and the Semjini, the Javayer. In Koran Himboina, Koresurasonam. Korange, Taji, Shata Chuching May of thing.
To survive in the mountains, you have to understand them. Mountain habitats can be brutal. But if you use your ingenuity, determination, resourcefulness and courage, it is possible to make a life here at the roof of the world. When the Human Planet Mountains team filmed the Mongolian eagle hunters, their search for a fox was like finding a needle in a haystack. Keeping up with the hunters also proved near impossible in the vast Mongolian landscape. The team are here to film Sailau and his son Berik hunting with their eagle Balapan. Cameraman Keith Partridge last met Berik in June with his newborn chick. It's now November and bitterly cold, an ideal time for hunting when wolves, foxes and rabbits all have thick winter coats. Unlike the wildlife, The old Russian trucks are not well adapted to the cold, so the drivers devise a novel solution. Keith opts for a different ride.
The fact is that I haven't even ridden a donkey across Blackpool Beach. We've now got to go up there on one of these. Does my horse have a name?
Mongolian horses don't have names.
They don't have names.
Okay. You call them by their colors.
Okay.
And the Mongolians has more than 300 words just to describe the horse colors.
Wow.
In order to make it go, you slightly kick, and you should say shoo.
Okay, should we follow Aggie? Thank you. That's it. Shoo. Shoo. Shoo.
Eventually, Keith finds the gears and off he goes. After 3 hours, the trucks catch up, and Keith's only too happy to leave his horse behind.
What does he think?
You are a good man except your nose.
Is that my nose? Is it too big?
You are good horse rider.
There you go. No frostbite.
Keith heads off to test a small eagle cam, for which Silau has made a harness.
There are cameras out there that might give us a better picture quality, but they're much bigger. So we're playing this trade-off game all the time between practicalities and quality. Anyway, let's see how it goes.
Silau's eagle seems to fly quite happily with the eagle cam on her back. Encouraged by the first test, they use a heavier high-definition camera.
Oh, this will be amazing if this works. We don't even know if the bird will take the weight. We might overload the plane, so to speak.
The eagle flies beautifully. Keith and the team head back to base, joining director Nick Brown to view the results.
Very tense moment.
The locals join in for a bird's eye view. They've never seen their eagles quite like this before.
All hoods off. Hoods off. Off we go. Whoa! How small. Oh my God. That's pretty wild.
Look at his head. This is where he died.
Wow, look at that banking round with the head. Wow. That's pretty wicked, isn't it?
The next day, the crew follow Beric and his young eagle on their first fox hunt. The hunters shadow sweepers, men who flush the foxes out into the open. The team must constantly move from peak to peak to give the eagles the best chance of seeing a fox.
Sarah thinks that the fox might be hiding over these small mounds, just behind these telegraph lines. He would like to go one of those hills and wait there.
Well, it seems to make sense that we've got to head there.
Yeah. Well, you better be fast, mate, because he's just gone.
Because there he goes.
He's gone.
After packing up quickly, the film crew race after the hunters. But as soon as Keith starts filming, the plans seem to change yet again.
Silo's now moved off again, so time to go. Only been in 2 minutes.
This set the pattern of the day. As Silau and Beric move from peak to peak, so do the team, constantly playing catch-up in the thin, high-altitude air. Finally, near exhaustion, they face a new problem.
Where is Silo?
They call the director.
Nick, this is Keith. Do you read over?
Aha, yeah, how are you?
We're on our third mountain range of the day so far and still no luck. Over.
Which mountain range are you on now? Over.
If only we knew. Behind us are the really big peaks with no snow on. The terrain here is pretty wild actually. And if anything's going to be lurking about, I think I'd want to hide around here somewhere. Something in front of that telegraph pole walking out. Is that a dog? Let's get the lens on it. It's not a wolf, it's a cow.
I never said it was a wolf. I said it was moving.
That is very true, Zubin. Do I get the sense that delirium is beginning to set in on the third mountain range of the day?
Would you like some chocolate bars?
Every day, just at the point
where we all was thinking,
we're about to faint.
You bust your teeth on. I could ask you, Aggie, if you could keep them somewhere slightly warmer.
You've got eyesight with them.
They set off yet again. Keith and the team are beginning to wonder if they'll ever film a hunt. But then, good news.
We have seen a fox. Scarpered really fast down that snow slope. The guys are over there at the moment trying to see where it's hunkered down. Once they're out on the snow, you can see them pretty easily because it's little black dots scarping like hell. But apart from that, I mean, you see this place is utterly vast. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
Suddenly, there's a call from the valley and the hunt is on.
Everybody clear the front frame, please. Now. I think the fox has made a hasty escape.
Both Balapan and the crew have learned a lot on their first hunt. Still, the team have yet to film a successful hunt. After several frustrating days, the pressure to deliver is intense.
We're kind of fast running out of time, really. It hasn't been looking very good.
Just when the crew are resigned to failure, a call is heard. Keith knows this is his and Balapan's big chance to succeed.
The bird got it. My word. When all those whoops go off, things just go from like 0 to a million miles an hour in like 2 or 3 seconds. Your heart races when you're doing this sort of stuff. And you just have to respond in a kind of a positive way, you know, and just try and stay totally focused on what you're here to do. When that adrenaline kicks in, it's easy to get distracted, but you have to kind of just think, right, now's the time when I've got to up my game and really, you know, knuckle down and focus in on getting the shot, making it work, and also trying to build some form of relationship with the people that you're working with as well, so that they trust us and welcome us into what's quite an intimate part of their lives.
Coming up next this evening, we're off on a railway walk with Julia Bradbury, and then at midnight, using the railways as they were intended for a great British railway journey.